Hello everyone, we're in Hua Hin Arena, Thailand. And our guest today is Sly Black, the former coach of Corey Gauff, Sloane Stevens, and the father and coach of Tornado Black and Hurricane Black, successful junior players. Nice to meet you, Sly.
Nice to meet you.
Firstly, I want to ask you about your experience as a tennis player. At what level did you play tennis, and at what age did you finish your player's career and started your coach's career?
Yeah. So I started playing tennis at age 10. I was a ball boy. When I just started playing tennis, I was a ball boy. I used to pick up the balls for the tourists, and they'll pay me $1 or something to pick up the balls for them. But I fall in love with tennis very, very quickly. I was on the court maybe 8, 9, 10 hours every day just playing tennis. So I improved very fast. In 1 year, at age 11, I already became the top 2 player in my country for under 12s. I started traveling to represent Jamaica when I was under 14s. I'll travel to like the rest of the Caribbean islands or the US or Canada to play regional tournaments. By the time I get to 15, I was already one of the top 18-year-old junior in Jamaica. So I spent a lot of time in Florida training and getting my ITF ranking up. I won quite a few ITF tournaments. My highest ranking in ITF, I think I probably got into the top 30 maybe in juniors. But at age 17, I started playing Davis Cup for Jamaica. And then I was in Florida training 1 year when I was 18 or 19. And then I ran into a couple young girls training. That was Venus and Serena. They were like 10 and 11 years old. And my friend will ask me to, go hit some with the girls. And, slowly but surely, I got pulled into being a little sparring partner for the younger players. Over the next 5 years, there was a lot of players, David Nabandian, Gama Correa, a lot of the young Argentina guys. They used to train in Florida at the Rick Mason Tennis Academy, where I became a sparring partner, including Sharapova, Bethany Maddox, Shanae Perry. I was the hitting partner for them. I decided in my mind, I want to go this route. I want to be a sparring partner, traveling coach, rather than to pursue a tennis career after I was 19 years old. So I was doing I got many clients. A lot of the young pros, they wanted to hit with me because I was good enough to beat them, and also I made it excited for them to train every day. By the time I get to age 21, I start travel the world a lot to take the juniors all over the world. We used to travel every week. We're in a different country with ITF tournaments, South America, Europe, Australia. We were everywhere, ITF tournaments. And then, I fall in love with this junior tournament, you understand? Junior players. Before I was a sparring partner for the pros, then I became a junior coach. And then I actually fell in love with coaching the juniors because it felt better to me teaching the kids the discipline of the game. The older pros, if they're number 1 in the world, that was a different story. But the other ones, they already have their goods and their bads already. So I didn't like the idea. I would have to train anyway, whether it's bad or good, I would still have to train. The younger ones, I like to fix things, So I fell in love with fixing, making sure they're ready by the time they get to the professional stage. But yes, I basically quit professional touring when I was 21, 22 years old. I'll still play a couple Davis Cup for Jamaica, but that was the end of my tennis career, and then started the coach after that point, 21 years old, 22 years old.
In one of your interviews, you said that you learned from Nick Bollettieri, Rick Macy, Richard Williams. They're some of the most successful coaches in tennis history.
Yes.
Share with us, please, what you have learned from them.
Yes. So fortunate for me, I started my coaching career at the Rick Mason Tennis Academy. So I was a sparring partner for all his good players. I was, at one point, I was a head coach there for his academy too. But I was on the court with Rick Macy 10, 11, 12 hours every day. If he doesn't take a break, I wouldn't take a break. You understand? Because I enjoy what he's doing, and I love watching what he's doing, and I'm working with him at the same time. So I was learning a lot. And he was very good at teaching the kids technical formation. So I was very, very lucky to start my coaching career with one of the best technical coaches in the world. You know, that's how I started out. So my career started at the right moment, at the right time to become a coach. I spent 3-4 years at Rick Macy, and then I went to Nick Bollettieri Academy with a couple of the kids from IMG. IMG sought sponsor a couple of the kids. So it's required for me to go to. It's the same thing. After I leave Rick Macy, I went to Bollettieri. It was me and Bollettieri with the kids, 7 hours a day again. So I went straight from Rick Macy straight to Nick Bollettieri. So the same, I love the whole idea Nick Bollettieri can motivate the kid, very good at motivating the kid to train hard, work, discipline. So learning the technical formation from Rick Macy and also the motivation, the mental part of it from Nick Bollettieri. And then Richard Williams, his tennis philosophy, the way he approaches the game, teaches his daughters to be more confident, self-belief, positive, everything that he taught his daughters, Venus and Serena, now proved to me this guy was definitely one of the best tennis philosophy the world has ever seen, and the results speak for itself. So I had the ability to see all three of these, professional coaches work, and then have the ability to, learn from all three of them at the same time.
You have great experience of the best coaches.
Yeah, the best coaches.
You're a lucky coach because you started your career from this.
Right. Day one, I was right there with Rick Macy, Richard Williams, and also Nick Bollettieri. Many hours a day on the tennis court.
Tell us about your coaching philosophy that you use now. What do you consider the most important in junior development to achieve highest results?
My coaching philosophy on developing players. So what I've been doing the last 20, 25 years, almost 30 years, I've been experimenting on developing good juniors. And we got very successful at doing it. It was not only me, I had about 4 more guys around me, but we do the same thing every day for maybe 25 years. And we came to the conclusion that after experimenting so many times, good and bad, we fail sometime, but many times succeed, that we now know the juniors, when they're growing up, what they might need to help them to get to the next level, you understand? So for example, if the kids are doing a lot of things wrong, we were almost 100% sure that kid will not pass a certain point in tennis. So what we try to do at a younger age with the kids, we try to avoid all the weak areas in the game, whether it's mentally, technically, physically, to try and give them the best possible chance when they go to these growth spur or they go to these different stages, they can multiply and go further. So my tennis philosophy in tennis is I would love, if I have to build a good development program for a player, I would love to take the kid at maybe 6 years old, 7 years old. And my first thing I would teach a kid is it's okay to miss a tennis ball. The first thing I would tell that player, it's okay to miss a tennis ball. If that player at 6 years old understands the ability to miss a tennis ball, and this is still okay, I already have a champion in front of me. Because my philosophy about the game is, if the player cannot accept the fact that they're gonna miss a ball, that player won't improve on any stroke because they don't want to miss a ball, because you understand? If the player doesn't accept the fact that they're gonna lose a point, then there's a likely chance that player won't become a professional tennis player. So both those two main mental part of the game, if I can get the kid at any age, between age 6 and age 10, to believe in this, that kid is already on the way to become a professional tennis player. So philosophy-wise, I would take the kid 6 to 8 years old and try and build a solid foundation. A foundation is a technical foundation. At that age, no kids yet are mentally tough yet. They're young kids. So what I'll do is I'll allow them to, go through the different stages, but I will try and mold a solid technical formation to give them the opportunity, when their physical ability gets better and their mental toughness gets better, the technical formation is already there already. So we'll go through the technical ability first. Then we will go through the mental ability. That means see how they're developing by the time they get to age 12 years old. By then, I can tell if the mental toughness is getting better, or the technical is already still there, because we did that for the last 3 years, the technical work. Now, the physical ability, especially for the girls, they mature a lot earlier. So by the time they get to age 15, I can already tell this girl is on the way to dominate the tennis world. And it's just because of experience. But the boys, usually, mentally, they don't kick in until later on. So juniors, we got to be careful, cannot put girls and boys together because one mature a lot earlier than the other. The girls mature a lot earlier. For example, Corey, or even my daughters, I've never seen them lose to any boys under 12. Never. I never seen Corey lose to under 12 boys. Never seen my daughter lose to, whether the best boys in the US, it doesn't matter. They never lose to a 10 or 11-year-old boy. But when they get to 13, 14, 15, that changes. They don't beat the boys anymore. That changes big time. So that's why with the girls and boys, philosophy-wise for me, I would be a little more patient with the boy, getting through a certain stage. The girls, I can start maybe 14, 15 years old, making sure they're, having the right, elements in the game to give them a chance to become a professional tennis player.
Thank you. Let's start with your experience with Sloane Stevens. She started to play tennis when she was 9 years old. Insanely late in comparing with today's standards when kids start to play tennis at 4, 5, 6 years old.
Yes.
How old she was when you start to coaching her? And share with us some features, some specifics of coaching player who start to play tennis so late.
Okay. Sloane Stevens. I met Sloane Stevens when she was 10 years old. She just turned 10. And how we met, it was a little coincidence how we met each other. She went to another academy, and the coach there told the mom that she is not going to be a tennis player. She cannot, she doesn't have the talent to be a tennis player. And I told the mom, okay, I will look at Sloane. She's 10 years old. But the first time I saw Sloane, I knew there was something special about Sloane. Sloane was very strong and she was very fast. So that's two after strong and fast, two of the main elements I need to build a tennis player. The ability to hit the ball hard, that's strong, and she was very, very fast. So she had two gifts before she met me. That's her talent. But what I knew then is I can turn those two gifts into something special. I took Sloane from age 10 in about a year. She didn't make that much progress in about a year, but I still believe she got something that I think I can build. So I would invite other coaches to come and watch her or send her to different coaches. And every coach I send her to, they said no. Every single coach, included IMG, the famous netball Terry. They all said no to her. And she came back and the mom looked at me and said, are you sure, this is the road for us? Because everybody keeps saying no. Everybody said no. And I told him, Mom, trust me. You understand? Trust me. I don't know what the result, she's going to be number one in the world, but I know I can make her into a good tennis player. So we spent a lot of time, because she was already strong, she was already fast. So we spent a lot of time trying to get her technical formation going. Her footwork, technical with her footwork, and technique with her, with her, ground strokes and volleys and stuff. The whole idea with Sloane was trying to get her to hit 10 balls in the court, basically. If we can get her to hit rally 10 balls in the court, I knew the girls on the other side of the court was in trouble because it was going to be 10 big shots. And then she's very fast. So what I saw in Sloane and what I believe in Sloane is eventually start making a big change in her game. She started beating some of the top juniors in America. The first year when I met her under 12, she wasn't one of the top 12-year-olds in America. She was never. Many other girls I've coached at that age, always number one in America, 12 or something. Sloane was not. Sloane made a transition between 12 and 13 years old. Sloane started improving. When I mean improving, I watched her in Orange Bowl semifinals. She played the number one girl in Orange Bowl. Sloane beat her from Canada. Sloane beat her 6-0, 6-0. That's the drastic step she made from 11 years old to 13 years old. Big jump. And then she made another jump again from age 13 to age 15. She's going. She's every 2 years she'll multiply. 13 to 15, then she made another huge jump again from 15 to 17. So she keep multiplying. Many kids, they get better. Sloane was multiplying. Every 2 years she'll multiply. So because of her physical ability and her technical ability, strength, speed. She had the ability. Her mental toughness was never one of her strengths. We all knew that. We had a problem with her mentally, concentration, staying focused. But eventually we got her up to about 75%, which that's all we need. We got 100% power, 100% speed, and now 100% ground strokes. So we got 3 to 4 main elements to become a professional tennis player. We know we were fine. So even then, at age 16 or 17, I brought her back to the same coaches again who said no to her 12, and they still said no. Yeah, they still said no after so many years. They still said no. But I think they saw, her body language, the way, her motivation. But what they overlook is her power was overwhelming. Her speed was overwhelming. Her timing was ridiculously good. She had very good timing. She got good effortless power. Sloane could have hit the ball all the way in the baseball field if she wanted to. But with Sloane I told everybody that Sloane, after coaching Sloane and I made her into a tennis player, Sloane made me as a coach. Even though before her there was other players who come before. But after I made Sloane, that's the trophy I said, I earned that one. That Sloane was the girl I said, okay, if I coach Sloane and she got this good, I can coach anybody at all. Everybody came behind her, it was an easy job.
Sloane started to play tennis at 9 years old.
Yes.
At 16, she was number 5 in ITF juniors ranking under 18.
Juniors, yes.
What is the key of her rapid success in tournaments?
Yeah, so the main key for her rapid success, as I said to you, she had the speed. The ball would not get by her. And not only that, she had the speed, she learned to control the ball. And she got top spin, and Sloane got very nice, heavy spin. And not many girls like it to play against somebody. Sloane was strong, fast, and heavy spin on the ball. So her ability to overpower, because physically she's even getting more fast and stronger. So her ability to overwhelm her opponent became what she does. She improved rapidly. And as soon as I saw the results are coming in, I know, okay, this is it. I remember, when we split ways for a while, the mom would call me and said, Coach Sly, oh, she needs you. I'm like, no, she's already set already. Just follow the road. It's okay, she's fine. Let her keep the same road. You don't need to change anything. And the mom listened to me and they just follow the road, yes, right through.
And how many hours a day she practiced at that ages, 12, 13?
Okay, so Sloane, because she was behind, at age 10, 11, she was way behind. She could have played with some of the girls, but she wasn't top girls at that age. So we knew we had a lot of work to do. So me and Sloane in the morning will practice for 2.5 hours. That was private lesson in the morning. In the afternoon, another private lesson for 1 hour, and then she would have a hidden partner for like an hour and a half. So at age 11 and maybe 13, she was on the court maybe roughly every single day, a solid 4.5, 5 hours every day. And plus, at age 13, she started having a fitness coach. So she was on the tennis court, tennis was 5 hours a day, every day for sure. At age 13 to 15, she got better. So now you can modify the training. 1 hour private lesson, 1 hour hidden, or 1 hour match private lesson with me watching her play a match, and then fitness after. So there was 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the afternoon. And that was her schedule after that. But between age 11 and age 13, we'd spend a lot. I knew we had to do a lot of hours because she was way behind, and we had to make up. So, we spend at least 5 hours every day on the tennis court, between age 11 and age 13 years old, every day for sure.
Thank you. In one of your interviews, you said that Coco Gauff was the strongest 10 years old tennis player in the history. At the same time, she was the youngest number 1 in ITF juniors ranking in the history. What was the key of this success at such young ages?
Coco. I met Coco at age 6 years old. She wasn't 7 years, she was 6 years old. I met her when she was 6. And again, she wasn't nothing special because she had a junior racket, and I remember it was a pink junior racket, and it was like 25 inches long, and she was holding up the racket. So she wasn't even holding a full racket. So I told her dad, if I'm going to coach your daughter, I want you to get a regular racket. I would not coach a kid if he's got a baby racket. I don't think he's ready. Give her a big racket, it's okay. The next day, the dad turned up racket. It was very easy to coach Coco. because as soon as I saw her, the first day the test was for me to feed the ball anywhere in the court. She was 6 years old. She didn't even have a ground stroke. She didn't have a forehand yet or a backhand. She just, find a way to put the ball back in the court. But I asked her, I fed her 10 balls, and I said to her, I just want to run all the balls down and get back to the middle of the court. And I tried my best to make sure the ball passes her. And 10 balls in a row, none of the balls passed her. And she run back in the middle of the court every single time. And I said to the dad, okay, let's do it. He said, why? I said, I seen what I wanted. Let's do it. We went on a mission with Corey. Even at 6 years old, I knew this one was going to be special. I made prediction with Corey that I never made with anybody else. I made prediction when she was 7 years old, 8 years old, like every year, because every time we set a benchmark, she will pass the benchmark every year, pass the benchmark. When I just started working there was 8 other girls, included 2 of my daughters, in the same group of girls. So Corey was number 9. She was always the hard one out. She wasn't even a part of the group yet. Every time something is going on, she would have to sit on the bench and watch. Let the other 8 girls play. And there was 2 girls there who was ahead of her, who would beat Corey 6-0. So me and my coaches, by Corey's attitude and her ability to work and her mental toughness, we predict Corey will beat those 3 girls in a year. 8 months, Corey beat all 3 girls. 8 months, in 8 months. So 8 months ago, those girls beating Corey 6-0. 8 months later, Corey's beating those girls. So we keep setting benchmarks. I like to take the juniors in America that I coach. I like to see how much I get them to accomplish at a young age. You understand? This is just me. It's just my work. This is what I love to do. So my oldest daughter, Alicia Black, she's the youngest national champion in U.S. history. So you know me, I'm going after that record. It's my daughter, but I'm going after the record. So I used Corey to track my own daughter's record and I broke my own daughter's record. So Corey was now the youngest national champion in U.S. history. She beat my daughter's record. So because of what I knew Corey was capable of doing, the mom, she was a runner, the dad was a basketball player. They were all in with me. Whatever I need, they said, okay, Sly, what do you need? Just turn our daughter into a tennis player, that's it. And I've never seen a parent that disciplined. I've never seen a tennis player that disciplined. The father, me and him would never have a conversation about what we should do, what we should not do. He would take Corey to the tournaments in the weekend. I say, I'm not going to the tournaments. He will take Corey back on Monday. I don't even want to hear about the tournament. Don't tell me nothing about the tournament. Practice Monday morning. I don't care where you going to the tournament. You fly to Hawaii, play a tournament, make sure Corey's here Monday morning for a training. And he said yes. So Dad wasn't there. Most of the week he was not there. He was out working. But the mom sits there. No, her mom sits there for 5 straight years and watch me coach her daughter, fitness, just a rigorous work every day. And the mom sit there very relaxed and chill for 5 straight years. Never seen anything like that. So everybody always gave the dad the props that he did a lot. No, the mom. For her to sit there and watch me coach her daughter for so many years and don't say nothing at all to me, not one time, ever dip in mind. Many other parents there, the parents get into fight with the kids, disturbing my lesson. Corey mom, never, not one time. So the dad, I think they planned it. They made a good plan. The dad said, stay out of Sly's way. The mom sit down. Everybody's on board. Whatever I need Corey need 3 more rackets. Okay, 3 rackets the next day. Corey need 10 grips. 10 grips the next day. So whatever I asked him for to turn your daughter into a tennis player, he was already there. And they were already 100% in on this professional thing. I was 100% in a long time ago. So the chemistry of the family in, Corey's in, she's got talent, and the coach is in. I knew something special was getting ready to happen. So at age 8, I said Corey will be #1 in the world by the time she gets to 10 years old. Yes, for her age, usually they're a little more, they got all the little tournaments and stuff. And not just was I right, she was a year or 2 above. By the time she gets to 9 years old, she was already beating the top 10-year-olds in America already, you understand? And then 10 years old, she was already beating the top 12-year-olds. So she by the time she gets to 13 years old, she was already, the world junior champion already, #1 in the world. So for her, it wasn't a surprise. Sloane was a very good, tough fight for me because I was not sure, but I knew I had to work. Corey is, I know. You understand? So maybe the effect from Sloane, I just, easy job for me to take Corey on. Corey came on next. And there was other girls in between. There's many other girls. I've seen Sharapova at 8 years old. 9 years old, 10 years old, because she was at Rick Macy at the same time when I was there. So I was a hitter, I was a feeder, and also at IMG. So I've seen many young ones at this age. Martin Hingis, Daniel Antikova, Sharapova, Tatiana Golovin, Jelena Jankovic. I was there at the same time, and my daughter was in the same group of girls. There was days I was feeding balls to all of those girls. So what I have is I have a good temperament for where the kid is at age 10, 11, 12, 13 years old. So me making Corey at age 9, by the time we get to age 9, is I knew the world was in trouble. So I made a prediction when she was 10. There's a likely chance Corey at age 10 is the best tennis player ever in the sport at age 10 years old. Never before anybody at that age played that good at 10 years old. She was solid. Girls or boys, she'll beat the top boys, she'll beat them. She beat all the boys. So at 10 years old, I got a feeling Corey was the best 10-year-old tennis player to ever play tennis at that moment. Yes. I made a prediction, pound for pound, Corey was the best tennis player in the world at 10 years old, pound for pound. So there was Federer, there was Serena, but pound for pound, Corey at age 10 years old was the best tennis player in the world. That was my prediction.
I saw Corey in Muratoglu Academy with her father, and
Yes.
he was very active in her training process. You
Yes.
already told us how you distributed the roles between you and her family, and how do you think the responsibilities should be distributed between parents and the coach? Because, as you know, sometimes it's a big problem for player development.
Yes. So that's why I said to you, the importance of the coaches, the parents, and the student, everybody play their main role, is it's very easy to contradict a coach or contradict the parent, try to do something or say something, especially if the student doesn't want to listen to the parents. So the parent need to be careful now what him or she is saying. So this is where a lot of places, a lot of coaches don't allow the parents to say nothing, because the reason why, because it does a lot more bad than good to have the parents try and do too much. You understand? Now, if your student is a disciplined student, Corey was a very disciplined student. So, and I see the dad taught her that. So whenever time Corey is on the court with me, the dad will tell her to look in my eyes. Always look at Sly in his eyes when you're talking. Always. So I have no problem at all if Corey's dad said something to Corey. I know Corey will listen to the dad. But if any time at all Corey and the dad is fighting, then I knew we were in trouble. So Corey was a good student. So this is a part of it. So very importantly for the parent to know his or her role and not overdo. Most of the time the parent should be motivating the student. Help them, support them to go out in the court, work hard, not demotivate them to go in the court and play tennis. Many times I've many kids come to the tennis court and the student is already crying already. The student is crying before the practice starts. So I said, we're trying to become a professional tennis player. How is this kid supposed to do anything today? Cannot. The kid is crying before come to tennis. Whatever the parent do to make sure the kid is ready to go to practice, that's their job at that moment. Now, if the parent is a coach, then you take the role. But if the student is going to a coach, your job is to make sure that student is 100% ready for that lesson when that kid walked on the tennis court. Very, very, very important.
So was it easier for you to work with your daughters than with another students, or it was harder for you?
It was pretty easy working with my daughters, especially two older ones. Because at the same, my daughters, they were disciplined before they start tennis. At age 4, they listen to me at the house. Do not do this, they don't do it. So it wasn't a problem teaching everybody always asked me the same question, how did you coach your daughter? I don't think I have a problem coaching there was never a problem. I have a problem coaching many kids who doesn't have discipline. They're fighting with the parents, but never with my daughter. It's with my older one. No, she loves tennis, she listened to me. She comes to do her lesson, go play doubles, go play singles, and then come back again. I will let her go play with other coaches because I don't need to worry about it because she's a disciplined student, you understand? Corey was the same. It doesn't matter who's playing tennis, Corey's out there playing. So it was never, ever a problem for me to coach my daughters, and Corey was the same. Sloane was a little bit more tougher to coach, to manage. But then I was in charge of Sloane. The mom will drop her off and say, Sly, see you later on, I hope it's working, she's gone. So Sloane, I was in control. Coco, Corey, I was still in control, but the dad would have a little input. Eventually, the dad started taking the role of the coach. because now the dad is taking Corey to the tournaments. So he sees her play matches every weekend. He'll send me a report on Sunday, drop Corey off and said, let's work on her back end for me this week. Okay, that's it, and gone, you understand? So coaching my daughter was never a problem because this discipline was already there before we actually started tennis.
Okay, thank you. Your students are very successful in doubles at the same time as in singles. Corey was #1 in doubles ranking when she was 18. Sloane won 3 Grand Slams in 1 year when she played ITF Juniors Grand Slams.
Yes.
In one of your interviews, you said that you pay a lot of attention to playing doubles, especially in junior development period.
Yes.
Share with us your opinion about this matter.
In the middle of our experiment, coaching the young kids, we know the kids, they get set in a certain pattern, whether they're going to be a baseline, a lobber, rally, or whatever it is. They get set at an early age. So what we start doing with the younger players, we start diffusing that set too early. Because, I mean, if they're 12 years old, you shouldn't be coming into one game at 12. You learn to build other parts of the game. Alcaraz. So for me, Alcaraz is the best evolution of what the game of tennis should be. You can volley, you can move, you can pick up, you can lob, you can hit hard, you can topspin, you can slide, whatever you want. So Alcaraz was what I was thinking about, especially with Corey. You see, if you saw on YouTube with me, some videos with me and Corey, every drill that we did was high ball, regular ball, short ball, volley, overhead, and high ball again. So it was everything together. But what we start doing now, we start implementing a doubles match every day at the end of the day. So after we did all the hard work, singles, footwork, everything, we will play doubles at the end of the day. So we found out that the kids at a younger age who start playing doubles start learning to be better tennis players. Not necessarily hard ball hit striker, but that's a part of it. But they were better tennis players. They can hit hard, they can lob the ball, they can drop shot, they can slice, they can volley, they can, more aware of what the tennis court is. The awareness goes up a lot higher. So before we would leave the kids at the baseline, but they got caught in the one dimension. They don't think a lot. They start playing doubles, and all of a sudden they start thinking a lot, start learning how to create the point, how to build the point, how to put the ball away. So very importantly, we found out, and this is 100% success. We already predict my Corey would have been one of the top doubles players in the world at age 15. We predict that already, before she did it in the singles, for sure. Sloane, when she won her first pro match, it was doubles. Sloane, we used to play doubles every Friday and every Saturday. That's fun for her. That used to be a reward for having a good week of practice. So Sloane won her first pro tournament with Jack Sock. She beat Leander Pace and Katerina Sibirnik in the first one of the US Open. That's Sloane's first pro match. Her biggest match she won is a doubles match in the US Open. She was like 17 or 18, something. But that was huge to beat Leander Pace. Leander Pace is the best doubles player in the world. So we found out that the kids during the development stage who learn to play doubles play a lot of doubles, including the single. It's everything. But doubles was more for practice for them to learn to do other things in the game rather than just rallying the ball at the baseline only. So I think it's extremely important to give the kid a chance to play doubles at the end of the day, or some days just play doubles some days, to allow them to learn all the other stuff that they need to learn to become a much better tennis player.
Yeah, absolutely agree with you.
Yes.
We do the same in our academy.
Yeah.
We try to practice more doubles, and it's very fun for players to do it when they're tired at the end of the lesson.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely agree with you. How old was Corey when you stopped to working with her, and how did the breakup go?
Yeah, that was for me that was a pretty tough one when I broke with Corey. I started Corey when she was 6. Did 5 years worth of good work. I mean, excellent work. Everything that I planned to spend 3 years with her. I only want 3 years. I told her that I need 3 years. I ended up spending 5 years. And the reason why I spend 2 years longer, usually the kids, when I get them, I spend 2 or 3 years with them and then hand them off to the next coach. You understand? Because I was very successful at building the kids from age 5 to age 12, age 15. So I always want to do that process all over. I love doing it. People always ask, why don't you go with Sloane and travel and make all this money? No, I want to start over again. So every 3 years I'll start over. And we became very successful. At one point, for about a 10 to 15 year period, we have the most successful junior development we won more Orange Bowl, more World Championship than any other tennis academy in North America. We have the most. Sometimes we have 2 kids playing in the World Championship. 2008, I had 6 girls playing in the semifinal in Orange Bowl. 2 in under 12s, 2 in under 14, and 2 in under 18s. These are girls that I basically put rackets in their hand. That's extraordinary to have 6 girls in a semifinal Orange Bowl in the same year. So Corey, I took 3 years into Corey. I said, I want to see where this can go. This is already special already. Give me another 2 years. So at age 11, she was already number 1 in the US. She was definitely number 1 in the world for age already. Now that we know. And then the dad came to me one day and said she was invited by Martin Luger. She was 10 or 11. They invited her over to go do an exhibition or something over there. She was 10. I was still fully coaching. I was still in charge of her. I hired a new coach, Gerard, to travel with her to France. And they all traveled there together for 1 week. And then they came back and, conversation was, oh, they love her. She played a couple matches. She won these matches and they would love to have her there more often. So there was a 1-year period where she'd go there for 2 weeks, come back. Go there for 2 weeks, come back. At age 11, I was approached by China to come and help them with their Olympic team, help them build an Olympic team. So then I was a good time because then she could make the transition over to Martin Luger, and then I could go on to my new job now. So, the breakup, it wasn't a bad breakup. I had to go. They weren't happy I left the US, but I went to China and then, stayed with China for 5 years, helping to bring young ones, in China. So the same development program I had going in the US, the same one I had going in China. But they went on their ways, went to Martin Luger. That's when they made the transition to Martin Luger. So I was here in Asia, and then that was it for her. Her career just went straight up from there.
You already said that you worked in China. Tell us about your experience in China and the difference between the training process in China and in the United States.
Yes. Well, I got to China, and my job was just to help them with the national team, the women's, the young girls, maybe 18, 19 years old. They wanted to have a successful Olympic team. China, they love the Olympics. And I said, where's the players? They only have 1 player in the top 150 in the world. It was Peng. And I said, we cannot, there's nobody. How are we going to get to the Olympics if we... So it was a plan to, organize a lot of WTA tournaments, give the girls some wild card, let them get enough points, and see if they can get the ranking up so they can go to the Olympic. So when I got there, there was only 1 girl was going to the Olympic. Then, in 6 months, 7 months, August, we had 6 or 7 girls going to the Olympics. So I didn't do nothing much. It was just a plan to organize the tournaments. They got enough points and then go. Then I was supposed to leave, and then they said, "Oh, that was a very success. Can you stay along and take the young girls, under 14 and under 12s? And can you make Corey?" I'm like, "Yeah, it took me 5 years to make Corey. If we're gonna try and make good ones, then we're gonna have to start young, and you do not have anybody at 16, 17 years old, so we have to go younger." So I said, "Yes, I will help." So I went to the younger stage, started taking the girls from 11, 12, 13 years old, and invite a lot of players from all over the country, pick a team, invite some coaches from all over the world, and then start the development plan. And I think China did an awesome job. That's one of the most successful stories in tennis right now. They did an awesome job of starting younger and implementing a little bit more tennis discipline in the younger kids' age, so the kids can develop into a better tennis player growing up. And you see the result now. The result. 2 of those girls, the singles champion in the Olympics and also the doubles champion, Xingyu, they were at 14 years old when I got to China. They were young. Yes, they were young ones. I told them, you guys are going to pick those and get them in a team and get them going. Quang Zheng, she went to Europe with IMG, but the other ones, Shenyu, there was a few other girls who came up 4-year period. They got very, very good. So China did a very good job of the discipline with the younger ones and work them into the professionals. But when I got there, the game was one-dimensional. All the girls were sitting hard. no sort of feel, no sort of the short balls, high balls, they would not. And the same thing is, I said to them, that's only 1/5 of what you're looking for, especially for the women tennis players. Hitting the ball hard, strong, that's fine. But we still got to learn to think, improvise, more spin sometimes, short ball, drive volleys, high ball, whatever. So we got into the concept of them mixed in, inviting the coaches from different countries, Argentina, Serbia, Europe, to come in and implement their tennis knowledge into China. China did an excellent job of inviting the coaches in and put the implement in what with the area. They can hit the ball hard and solid. They hit the ball very, very solid. But now that rest of that game, the rest of the game that the other coaches brought in allowed them to thrive. Like really, really good development plan they had for the last 5 years. So you see now that some of the Chinese girls now they actually hit very nice, heavy top. They can drive through the ball, but they can also hit topspin too. So they have the ability to do everything. The volleys. So they did that was a very good successful development program. And they just listen, I didn't do nothing much. I just explained to them, there's something missing. It's one-dimensional, hitting all the balls hard. Bring the coaches in and let's see how much we can implement into what you already have, because hitting the ball is good, but it's not everything. And so I knew if they can implement the other stuff in with what they got, they're gonna have good tennis players, and that's exactly what happened.
Okay, thank you. I want to ask you about your daughters. They were very successful in junior tennis. One of them beat Sabalenka in Juniors Fed Cup 6-2, 6-1. But they finished their professional career earlier. And what was the main obstacle for their successful transition from junior tour to professional?
My daughters, older, Alicia, actually I have 3 daughters. You don't know Nicole is the older one, who was the same generation as Sharapova. So at age 12, 13, my daughter was a better player. There was Sharapova, Jelena Jankovic, my daughter, age 14. Sharapova improved a lot when she was 14, 15 years old. So the tide changed then. But the second one, Alicia, she was a very good junior. Experimenting and stuff with her physically or mentally, her technical formation. She did an awesome job. She was probably about 1 point away from winning the US Open when she was, 14 or 15 years old, US Open Juniors. Then after the US Open, she, 16 years old, she got a hip, something wrong with the hip. She fell in the court somewhere. I don't know, I think she fell in the court somewhere, but she had a problem with her hip and she could not practice for about a 6-month period. Her hip was, so she'll take time off, go back on, take time off, go back on, take time off. So that was a little disappointing for me. She did not make a transition because she had the ability. She really had the ability to go a lot further in the pros. But that's why we do not know. Anything can happen. The kid can hurt something. They can get discouraged. They don't like tennis anymore. So that's the only little thing that keep me honest as a tennis coach. Even when I make predictions with other players, I'll leave a little space open for these things, injured or discouragement or something. The kid lose mental toughness, mental focus. But they did very good in the juniors and did very, very good in their early pros. They beat a lot of players. I was hoping they could last a lot longer career-wise, because I'm still a coach. I coached for 40 years. I would still love for them to go a lot longer and play tennis a lot longer. But the transition was for them was a little bit tough, especially the older one got injured, and it was very tough on her because she could not play tennis. She knows she cannot play, she cannot run. Then finally she did the hip surgery, and then that was 2 years later. Still did not get back into playing. But it was a little bad luck for her. But life goes on. Get ready again. Next student come again. Corey came after that, start me all over again.
You have huge experience, huge successful experience working with girls and women. What do you think about the difference between men's and women's tennis, and what the main and what the same and what the difference between coaching of men's and women on the court and off the court?
Okay, well, it is 2 different worlds. The men's tennis is different from the women's tennis. Okay, you have the same discipline. You have to work hard. You have to, mentally stay tough. You have to physically be in some sort of good condition. But for the men's, the requirements a lot more. So it was a lot easier for me to see a talented girl and say, I'm going to make a champion there. Every boy I saw was talented, and talented mainly in the physical part of it. So you see many girls, they're good, but they're not the best physical condition. The men's, you're not going to get anywhere close to Nadal, Djokovic, or Federer without being some sort of physical ability like them, or maybe better, you understand? So another thing is weapons. The guys, they need weapons. They need to be fast, they need to have good footwork, they need to have big serve, not necessarily the biggest serve, but they need to have good solid serve. They need to have, I think they need to have a big forehand. And another thing is they can close the point off at the net. So this physical ability allows them to, the guys to exploit their game to a different dimension that the girls, they're limited to. But if I have to coach a boy, the discipline would be the same as I coach a girl. Okay, the requirements, but the discipline would still be the same. You get up every day, work 2 hours, strengthen your forehand, strengthen your slices, the backhand, the volleys, it would be the same. But the only thing I could see different is I can see a girl, physical a bit like Corey saw her at 6, 7 years old. I said, whoa, this girl is going to wham some players. Many boys, I cannot do that because I don't know how big they're going to get or strong. But if you see a good physical girl, I know I got to do something special. You see a good physical boy, there's still millions of them all over the world. You understand? So it's always, you always say it humble whenever time you get a good athlete, especially in the men's tennis. Women tennis, I'm okay. The men's tennis, you stay humble until it's time to win. You understand?
Yes, I agree with you. You have launched the academy in Hua Hin, in this dreamy place. Share with us about your plans and your goals here in this very beautiful place.
Yeah. Hua Hin, Thailand. The reason why I chose Hua Hin, when I was in China with the national team there, we came here for a WTA tournament.
Yes.
And we spent 2 weeks here training for the tournament. And then the girls, they actually won the tournament. So, so now we're 5 weeks in, living in the hotel here. I called, Beijing and told them, this is a nice place. Can we train here? It's courts, beautiful place, good place for training. And plus in China sometime.
Gym, swimming pool, yes,
swimming pool. I mean,
yes.
ridiculous, awesome gym. It's one of the best gym in all of Thailand. We got indoors, we got stadium court. So we have the ability and limitless improvement here. I mean, resource. So I said to Beijing, let's take the girls here and we train here. And 5 years later, I'm still here and the girls still come here and train, go to tournaments, but they come back here. So the last year or so, I decided in my mind, I'm going to turn this into a development tennis center. And I think they made the right decision because it's just the right place to do it. It's not too busy. It's 2 minutes away from your hotel room. You walk to the court and you got everything possible for you to, become what you're trying to, accomplish in tennis. So I chose Hua Hin for this. I've looked at a lot of places all over Asia. So I chose this place to be my spot that I'm going to use as a development tennis center.
And what is your goal here? What is your dream? How it should be after 5 years, for example?
Okay, so short-term goals, I would love to have different countries bring their players here, so we have some sort of collaboration every 2 or 3 months. There's many little, tennis federations all over Southeast Asia, so I would love to invite them in on a short-term basis, and everybody just coordinate together. On a long-term basis, I would love for this to become basically the Bolletary of Asia. Invite young players who think they want to become good or who love to become a better tennis player to come here and give them the best opportunity to use the resource and the knowledge from what I can give to them and let them see how many players we can develop coming through Hua Hin.
I think many young coaches will watch our interview.
Yes.
Can you give some advice to them how to improve their coaching philosophy and methodology?
Yes. So I was in this same situation. I was a young coach. My number one recommendation, is try and be as close as possible to somebody who've done this work over and over. Try your best. You cannot go to any school to learn what you need to learn to be a tennis player. I never take a course test, never. But I was always with Rick Macy, I was always with Nick Bolletary, I was always, following in Richard Williams. So I've learned from them. I will now go out, after I learn what I will go out and study, what I learned from them, I'll go out and study it on YouTube. Then I don't have YouTube, I'll just go watch people play tennis. Trying to experiment, take some players, after you learn all this stuff, take some players on the tennis court and try and see how well you can build their technique, how well you can build their footwork, how well you can get in their head mentally. If you're thinking you want to become a professional tennis coach, and I've watched tennis day, morning, noon, and night, I watch tennis. So everything I learned from Rip Mason and them, I just love watching tennis. So for me, coaching was always what I want to do. I love to do it. So if you want to be good at coaching and you love it enough, you will find these areas to improve yourself to become a much better tennis coach. But number one, find somebody, learn from somebody who have done this before, and spar with that coach. Let him know you're there for that purpose. Stand behind him, put the ball in his hand when he's feeding. I put the ball in Balliter's hand every time he's feeding. I'm the guy who put the ball in his hand. Rick Macy always tell me to go have lunch. You're not going for lunch. And I said to Rick, what time are you going for lunch? He said, I'm not going for lunch today. Okay, I'm not going for lunch either. I'm fine. When you go for lunch, we go to lunch together. I didn't leave the tennis court because I want to learn. You understand? So the number one is experience somebody who's doing it. I've done it before.
And the one more question. Can you give one advice for parents of tennis players?
Parents of tennis players, if your kid does not have the discipline to listen to you when you're at the house, there's a likely chance your kid won't have the discipline to listen to you when they're on the tennis court. Yes. So make sure the discipline is already at home before you get to the tennis court. Because once you get to the tennis court as a tennis parent, you do not want to be the one getting in the fight with the kid at the tennis court. It gets very ugly sometimes, but try your best to know your margin. If you're doing too much, talking too much, it's disturbing the lesson, nothing is happening, you slow down. So the parents should know when to slow, when more, yes. Sometimes I'll go more with my daughter, she holds up. If I'm going more and she doesn't hold up, I go back down, I let go. Relax a little bit, slow down, let her practice, you understand? So very importantly for the parents to know the level of discipline of their own student, their own kid. Okay, cannot compare to any other kids, but your kid, if your kid cannot listen to you when you're at the house, there's a likely chance your kid won't listen to you when you're on the tennis court. So please make sure you do the homework first, the kid does it at home before you go to the tennis court, because the kid's not going to listen to you on the tennis court. Now, if you're a tennis parent and you're the coach, which is a good thing, I think it's a very good thing, then you will still have to borderline these areas. Know when to let go, know when to push a little bit. Yes, and if you do not know, get out the way or get some help. Either way, because you only have one chance with this kid. And every time the time goes by, you're losing time. There's no coming back, that time is not coming back. Yeah, so very, very important.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
I think it was great interview.
Yeah?
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.